Hello, and thank you for joining us for today's virtual education program at Cancer Support Community South Bay. I'm Rebecca, the program manager, and I welcome you to this workshop titled Finding Connection When You Feel Alone. Before we begin, if this is your first time joining us, CSC South Bay's mission is to ensure that all people impacted by cancer are empowered by knowledge, strengthened by action, and sustained by community so that no one faces cancer alone. We serve the South Bay, Long Beach, and Orange County area all at no cost. Our program includes support groups, networking groups, healthy lifestyle classes, social activities, and educational programs like this workshop. Educational programs are open to all. If you'd like to hear more about our services or join a community, please visit our website at cscsouthbay.org. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our workshop speaker. Brittany Rudinica is a licensed clinical social worker, Oncology Social Work certified, and a registered yoga teacher. Brittany is passionate about integrating her passion for integrative health into her work with cancer patients at the Torrance Memorial Medical Center Cancer Resource Center. Thank you so much, Brittany, for being here with us today.
Hi, Becca. Thank you so much. And hello, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedules to spend this time with me today. I'm feeling really good, like homey vibes for today. I feel like I just want to invite you all to kind of have an experience today. I know that this topic that we're talking about, finding connection when you feel alone, can mean a lot of different things to people. You could have come for many different reasons, and I want to honor that intention that brought you here today. And the bottom line is we're here to connect, right? We're here to connect with ourselves first and foremost, actually. So that might come as a surprise. And we're also going to share some tips and tools for also how to connect with others throughout the holidays. So maybe how it looks a little different, or with a cancer diagnosis, or just in our new phase of life. So I hope that you find some practical tools, but I also really want to give an invitation to just kind of settle in and downshift right now. So wherever you are, this is a little mindfulness teacher coming out in me. I invite you to set aside your distractions. I invite you to flip your phone upside down, whatever you got to do. Light your candle. I have mine going. It smells so good. Just do what you got to do to settle in. Try and take care of you. All right. So the presentation again, finding connection when you feel alone. So today, we have a couple different things we're going to talk about. I want to make sure we kind of highlight the context. The timing of this lecture was intentional around the holidays. We have Thanksgiving coming up. We have a lot of other holidays in December. So there's always a lot of feelings that come up around the holidays, and we'll talk more about that. It's cancer support community, so maybe you or someone in your life is impacted by cancer, and we want to talk about how that plays into this topic of finding connection when you feel alone, particularly around the holidays. I also kind of want to just touch on the fact that holidays could bring up a lot for not only cancer patients and survivors, but anyone really that has struggles with mental health or substance abuse. There could be a lot of triggers. So let's talk about coping. This whole lecture is going to be about getting ahead of the curve. This is our pause moment. You're here, and now we're going to prepare. Because when we wait for the waves to just crash one day, that's not the way to go. We want to get ahead of it. And we're going to just really plant that seed today. We're going to talk about how to connect with ourselves, with our feelings, because believe it or not, you could have a zillion friends and families around you, but if you don't feel connected to yourself, there's still a sense of longing or loneliness. And that's actually worse, I think, sometimes when you ask people. We're going to do a little exercise. We're going to talk about, okay, like I have other people around me, but how do I deal with the tricky relationships at the dinner table? How do I honor people that have passed in my life? We don't want to forget that either, and ways to cope. So I love this quote. Anybody know Brene Brown? Show of hands. Yeah, Mo, she got it. So Dr. Brene Brown is a social worker and a researcher at social scientist, and she researches the topic of shame, actually, believe it or not. And it's so interesting how, as a shame researcher, she always says on her little documentaries, like, I see I'm a shame researcher, and people look at me like, ooh, because that shame is essentially that feeling of like, there's something wrong with me. Guilt, right, is like, I did something bad. Shame is like, something wrong on the inside. And it's just like, that's horrible, right? However, Brene Brown's whole antidote, her recipe for getting rid of shame, her recipe for getting out of that place of self-loathing or isolation is, anybody know? Start with me, vulnerability. So anytime we become more open, we connect with other people. So we'll get there. But she has a beautiful book called Braving the Wilderness that I absolutely love. And it talks about how connecting with our true authentic self, our morals, our values, and staying aligned to who we are in a crowd or alone, wherever we are, is what's going to make us feel most connected. So I love this quote: true belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are, right? I'll say that one more time. It requires you to be who you are. No changing involved. So wherever you are right now, you're in that place for a reason. And there's nothing wrong with you as a person, okay? I don't know if you believe it or not, but that's where we are today. All right, so we are going to just kind of start a little bit with talking about cancer, and then everything else could be applicable to anybody at all. I love this. Different traditions don't mean less joy, right? So wherever you are, whether you're in treatment, whether you recently completed treatment, there's a lot of different shifts, right? That one may incur. That may affect their sense of connection versus isolation. It may also impact their holidays. So, you may have physical limitations. Maybe you're in chemo, like maybe there's, certain immunocompromisations that you don't want to be around people. Maybe your body doesn't feel right. Your hair, you had experiencing some hair loss, some body image, body part changes. Maybe you can't walk right now, or just a lot of different things that may make you not only impact your mobility and your physical ability, but it may also impact the way you feel about your body. So just acknowledging those feelings, acknowledging the emotional changes that have come up if you're recently come out of treatment or in treatment. You just went through a whole bunch of new experiences, a whole slew of new emotions, and walking into the dinner table or the party or whatever it may be with that, people are holding so much in them, right? And then you're kind of maybe bumping into people you haven't seen for a while, and it's like, who am I? Like, you're like, the person is dealing with so many questions in and of themselves, let alone going in a social setting, be so anxiety provoking, trying to figure out like, who am I and how are people going to respond to me? I don't want to be pitied, all these things. So a lot of emotional changes going on, a lot of body image changes. And of course, there's different financial challenges. We know that there's a lot of costs that get involved with healthcare. So anyways, I just wanted to acknowledge some of the things that patients may experience. So just kind of be mindful that if you are experiencing any of these shifts in your mind and your body, please know that we still want to find ways of honoring the holiday, of honoring joy, of honoring tradition, and it's okay if it looks a little bit different. So there are a couple of skills and ideas that I've pulled from cancer care, cancercare.org, and just in general, you could think about ways of connecting when you feel alone, or maybe when you just feel different, you feel a little, because we know that like when one goes through the experience of cancer, Like there's so many shifting of the guards when it comes to our identity, our body, our mood, the medicine, everything. And we also want to find a way. We want to find a way to create some joy in our life along the way. It's a big challenge. It's a big challenge. However, getting ahead of it, thinking about what feels doable for you. And maybe you were the matriarch or the patriarch. Maybe you're the one that cooks the turkey and you're just like, I can't this year. We're going to acknowledge our limits, right? And still not just like totally not do anything altogether. So we're finding shades of gray today and maybe even new rainbow colors of creativity because we want to come up with new solutions for still enjoying the holidays. And I know I'm talking a lot about holidays. This whole presentation isn't about it. I'm just acknowledging it. It's a big trigger for people. So some examples: make plans to get together with your family, friends, reach out proactively in a way that feels like it's something you could handle. Might not look the same, but that's okay. You could even create new traditions if the ones that you used to have are not sustainable in this moment. You could talk to your healthcare team. Maybe you want to travel and maybe you're not sure if you can or not. Just talk to them, see if they have any good ideas. If you're limited physically, maybe you can't even get out of bed, think about like, hey, maybe I could do some online shopping or do my my cards at a time. That's the best gift ever. Definitely it's Thanksgiving coming up, tapping in with those feelings of gratitude and finding ways to express them. I love this one probably the most out of this whole list because we could have come up with this list, but celebrating the strengths of yourself and the ones that you love. I know that this group has a lot of those. So before I get going with some skills and such, I want to pause because it is going to shift a little bit and just acknowledge what are some strengths that you're bringing to the table this holiday season. What do you feel like, because we're tapping into our values, right? We're tapping into what's unique about us, what we've overcome to honor ourselves. We're going to start with that. So I invite you to type in the chat in this moment, what strengths would you like to celebrate of yourself? We'll start with that. This holiday season, if you were to just acknowledge, hey, just got to drop it in the chat if anywhere, even if I don't tell anybody, I'm declaring it. And Becca, whenever there's anything in there, feel free to read.
Absolutely. And if anyone wants to unmute themselves, they can do that as well. Or type it into the chat and then I can read it out for you. Ability to get through difficult situations. I have a great sense of humor. Wonderful.
Amazing. I have a feeling that a lot of you can get through hard stuff. Yeah.
Positive thinking, resilience. Yes, yes.
Okay. We're getting on the right track. This is kind of priming you for what we're going to do a little more. Okay. So even if you're not typing it, I invite you to still think about it. Great. Positive thinking, resilience. These are all signs of like really good coping, by the way. So yeah, you guys are rock stars. Good job. Thank you so much, Becca. And thank you all. All right. So we're going back to this same kind of vibe as Brene Brown. The worst loneliness is not being comfortable with yourself, right? So let's try and flip that a little bit. Let's celebrate our strengths and let's tap into what feels good. I hope this presentation is like an invitation to celebrate what feels good and how to deal with discomfort. Okay. So before we do a little exercise, I want to give you a little background. Just reflecting for a moment on your own. Has anybody heard about self-compassion before? Maybe a show of hands. You don't have to unmute or anything. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Okay. Yes, I'm seeing some nods. So self-compassion. I know that the word self-care has been quite the buzz term lately, all over the place, right? And that could mean a lot of different things. So self-care, some people get it mixed up with being selfish or self-obsessed or pampering. But really what self-care is figuring out what's going on in our needs, in our body, in our soul, in our emotions, and taking care of our needs. Taking care of our needs, right? It's different than just being like, oh, I'm just going to binge shop or just eat a bunch of chocolate cake. It's not self-care necessarily. Self-care is realizing what our need is and taking care of it. One tool for self-care is self-compassion. So we have this tendency as humans, when we're going through a challenging situation, we feel alone, we just went through cancer, when our loved one going through camp, whatever the case may be, a life transition, life change. For some reason, our brain does this funny thing. We get hard on ourselves. Anybody feel that before? Yeah? We get a little harder on ourselves. It's really, really sad. And it's kind of mean. It's kind of mean sometimes, right? Like the things we tell ourselves when we're like, kick you when you're down. Like you would never do that to someone else. So it's just me. So we're going to acknowledge a little bit about what's going on in our mind. So self-compassion is an intervention. It's a tool. It's a skill to think about things a little different. Instead of being self-critical when we're feeling challenged, what are ways we could respond to ourselves in these three different ways? There's three components of self-compassion. How can we observe our thoughts, what's going on in our mind, or self-talk, and instead of being critical, how can we respond to ourself, our emotions, the situation with kindness? How would we talk to our very good friend, even someone neutral, even someone on the street who probably wouldn't be as mean to sometimes? But let's just talk about a friend that you have positive feeling towards. How would you talk to a good friend? What tone of voice would you use? So, for example, the holidays, I just went through treatment. I just like, oh, I don't have all my energy. I got some brain fog going on. I'm feeling a little nauseous. Food doesn't taste the same. Should I even go to the party? Right? Is it worth my while? So let's think about this. So if we were to take it from a self-compassion lens, what we would observe what's going on. Okay, so I'm in first part mindfulness. I'm aware that something kind of negative is going on, something critical. I'm being hard on myself. Fine. So we catch that. The mindfulness piece kicks in. We're paying attention on purpose without judgment. So we're just simply noting. Mindfulness is noting, becoming aware. Oh, I have this loop going on in my head. I'm kind of like beating myself up or questioning myself, doubting myself. Mindfulness, number one. Kindness. Okay, so this is what's going on. My negative cycle, I'm being a little critical here, being a little hard on myself. Okay, I don't know how to get out of it. Now we think about, okay, if I can't come up with positive self-talk encouragement right away, take a step back and you think about, what would I say to someone else in this position? What would I say to my friend? What would I say to someone in this room, in this group, in this situation? Really think about it. I'm going to do this as an exercise soon. I'm just giving you a little precursor. So likely I'm imagining, it might sound something like, if you were to talk to a friend in the situation, I explain, wow, you've been through a lot, right? Like you have been through a journey, like a Mount Everest, and one that you didn't plan on, nobody planned on. You didn't want to have to be strong. You had to be. And you're here. You did it. Like we said in the chat, you're resilient. You're still maintaining a positive mindset. Your attitude is contagious. Your strength is admirable. And you staying at home would be such a loss for all of us. And do you think that I don't think, I would feel like that might hurt for you too. That's just one thought. Notice the tone of voice. Notice the, really going there kind of tone. Okay. Third part, which is what today it's all about, is common humanity. Common humanity is adding okay, so we did all the kindness and mindfulness. You are not alone. believe it or not, everybody here, I don't know how many there are, I can't see. Everybody here is not alone, really, in our feelings. Even if you live by yourself, even if you don't have plans for the holidays, even if you just feel super detached from your normal self right now, there's this thing called common humanity. None of us are alone. So what that means is that even in our hardest times, even when our feelings are shame, even when our feelings are guilt, even when our feelings are regret or just physical suffering, other people suffer. And that, believe it or not, that is the thing that connects most people to the human experience, even more than the positive feelings, if you could believe it or not. The tough feelings are oftentimes what brings people closer together, because your shields are gone. Your shields are gone. You can't like put up the fake mask. And there's this odd opportunity to connect at that time. So I know that you guys are all ahead of the game because you're at Cancer Support Community and they have so many resources. Yeah, we're all connected. You can look at that however you want, spiritually or not, whatever your belief system is. But if anything, we're all sharing this power together. And I thank you. Your presence is making a difference. Okay, so I'm gonna read a poem in a second, but first I invite you, I'm just gonna leave this here. It's a neutral thing. All right, so I'm gonna invite you to just kind of slough off all that I just talked about and come to a comfortable seated or lying position. And we're just going to do a little meditation. It's going to be guided. It's going to be about self-compassion. We're really going to hone in on that common humanity piece, okay? So it's up to you if you want your camera on or off. It doesn't matter. I'm not looking at you. Your eyes could be opened or closed. I invite you to take a moment to really get comfortable here. Just try. You made it all the way here. Might as well. With your eyes closed or halfway open, I invite you to just start to get settled. Start to notice your breath. Yeah, move your distractions. Take whatever you need. And start to notice where you feel your breath in your body today. Noticing the flow of the inhales through your nose and the gentle exhales out your mouth. And let's all as a class in this moment take an inhale together through your nose. And as a class, let it go. All together, we're gathering our inhales through our nose. And all together, we're letting it go. One more time, breathing as a unit, in through the nose. And all together, we're releasing out our mouth. Allowing your breath to settle, allowing it to come to a neutral and comfortable cadence. You could keep taking long exhales if you need to settle in. Or you can just observe the ebb and flows, the rising and falling of your belly. As you inhale, your belly gently expands. And as you exhale, your belly comes back in to your spine. As we're here, we just start to reduce a little tension, release any crossing of our legs. We unclench the jaw. We soften the little muscles surrounding our eyes. Remove any furrowing of our brows. We wipe away any tension from our face. Our shoulders release away from the ears. So here, we just start to notice our body becoming a little heavier in our chair, in our seat, bed. And just in this moment, we allow ourselves to be Allow ourselves to be held. Allow ourselves to be held by our chair. And we release just a little bit more. Here, you just start to continue to breathe and to soothe yourself with kindness. If you have any parts of your body that feel stuck, or if the breath is stuck in any one spot, I invite you to just breathe into that. Your belly is tight. You can even place a hand there and breathe. If your chest feels heavy, I invite you to place a hand or two loving hands on your chest, inviting love, inviting breath, connection. Maybe you have one hand on your heart or one hand on your belly as an option. You just start to feel your heart beat, feel your belly rising. You just feel yourself. Feel your breath, your energy. As we slow down a little bit more, and just tap into ourselves. Maybe for the first time today or the first time in a while. I invite you to just notice what's coming up for you today. Maybe asking yourself, what is it that you need, or what is it that your body wants to tell you? I invite you just for this exercise to allow it to be without pushing it away. Allow that message to be heard, or just breathe. And as you're here, I invite you now to respond to yourself with kindness. What is it that your body needs? Is it a hug, a blanket, a nap? Or do you need to tell yourself everything's okay, all is well, may I be well, may I experience love, may I be safe, may I be healthy? Whatever it may be, give yourself some more wishes. Giving yourself all wishes, just all the way around. May be well, may be safe, may be cared for. May I experience ease and well-being. Now I invite you in that energy to find one person in this room or in your life you'd like to extend that same well-being to, same wishes of well. It could be someone you're close to or not. It could be someone you have positive feelings to, or someone that needs a little extra help and love. Sending them the wish, may you be well. May you experience ease, well-being. May you experience love. May you be safe. Noticing what that feels like to offer those feeling your compassion for. Now I invite you, people in this room, whether you see them in, I invite you to extend well wishes if you're able to. The people in this room, may you be well. May you be at ease. May you be safe. May everybody be healthy. May everybody in this room know they are sending that. Just take a moment here to see what comes up for you. To notice what it felt like to feel love, compassion for yourself, and what it felt like to extend it to other people. Knowing that you can offer wishes to everybody, including yourself. We're all connected. We're all here for. And with that, you can remove your hands if they're on your heart, place them back in your lap, and let's just take a few deep breaths in our nose again, waking back up slowly in through the nose, out through the mouth. Maybe opening your eyes. When you're ready, we'll just come back to the screen, bringing your eyes to the horizon. And I invite you, just in this moment, to just notice what came up for you. I am going to allow, keep in mind this is being recorded, I won't say your name, and allow a moment for anybody to peek in and say what their experience was of giving compassion to themselves and then to others. You could also type a little reflection in the chat. I would really appreciate it. I think it'll help others. I'm curious about what it's like to give compassion to yourself, what it was like to give it to others. You can maybe even reflect on what was easier or harder. I'll give a cookie to the bravest person.
A digital cookie.
I made some today. They were good.
I'm so jealous.
Okay. All right, no worries. Well, I want you to notate.
Hi.
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I'd like to. I'm sorry I'm late. I came in at a great time. I just want to share just what a great exercise, self-compassion, and my emotions was actually thinking about people that have been helping me through this journey and the love that I have for them. Really means a lot, as much as the love I'm receiving from them, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So it sounds like, yeah, continue.
Yeah, it's again, it's a difficult journey, as we know, and it's just wondrous when you have people in your life, if you're fortunate that will love you no matter what, and that makes you want to get through this journey and be there to love them. That's kind of a motivator. I think that's another thing as we think about motivation, like anything. This is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. And just to have that motivation, be able to fall back on that, because we all know that there's days when you're really blue.
Yeah.
And you think it's never going to end. Well, it is. And you're going to get better. And that's what you have to get that in your mind. Even through my therapy, I get brain fog, which makes it even harder sometimes, having to kind of push that fog aside, just to. That's been one of the biggest struggles. Interesting, as well as the physical, but the brain fog is very hard to. I love that you're having these meetings. It really helps.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And I'm curious, while I have one share, or anybody else could chime in, what was the most natural part for you? Were you able to give compassion to yourself, to other people in your life or other people in the room? What was the most natural or the hardest for people? Anybody want to share? You could type it in the chat. Okay. I found that giving compassion towards myself was harder than towards others. That's usually the case. I was waiting for that. I was just going to say it. Usually that's the case. Okay. So when you have a hard time, lean into the part that's easiest for you and then turn it back in. Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's keep it moving. Okay. So this is a poem that I just wanted to share about from Mary Oliver, When I Am Among the Trees. I just think it's beautiful, and it reminds me of slowing down and finding connection in absolutely anything. Mary Oliver is a beautiful poet that meditates on nature a lot. When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks, the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment, and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around the trees in their leaves and call out, trees stir in their leaves and call out, stay a while. The light flows from their branches, and they call again. It's simple, they say. It's the best part. And you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light and to shine. So I just like that because it reminds me of connection. So wanted to just do that little stint on connecting with ourselves, switching gears to others. Holidays, this time of the year will bring up a lot of memories. I'm going to kind of maybe challenge the traditional thought your brain may do of, let's just put it aside in that, like drawer somewhere and just never think about it. Anybody tried that before? Does it work? I don't know. Maybe in the short term. Okay. So I want to honor this moment of whatever's coming up for you. When I mentioned the slide of remembering loved ones, we all have people, again, all in common, that passed for whatever reason, of whatever reason. And believe it or not, when we find a way to remember our loved ones, especially around things like the holidays where we've had memories and traditions, it tends to be helpful rather than hurtful for the most part. And we can honor that and create a tradition even that might be new. I mean, again, we're talking about all about how holidays may look a little different this year. If you have treatment or whatever the case may be, how we deal with it. And I encourage you to be creative. So I know in my family, we have this little like drink that we make that reminds us like my grandpa, and we have this like special moment every year for it's like new tradition. And then, I know I cook a lot of family recipes that remind me of people, and that's a really good way of honoring them. So I just wanted to have a side, say a prayer, whatever it may be, light a candle. I love that one. Cook a favorite dish. Honor your past and see how you're going to bring it into your future and your present and then your future. That's what legacy is. All right, let's see here. All right, so I wanted to make sure we honored everybody here and beyond. I also want to acknowledge another challenge that may come up around the holidays or just in general when we're trying to connect, right? I'm like, okay, now I have some skills, some thoughts about how to connect with ourselves. Now you're like, I'm my best self right now. How do I deal with these people around me, right? Okay, so Brene Brown again. She's up for this topic. So Brene suggests that when you have a hard time connecting with those in your life, in your dinner table, empathy is actually a good one. Pull on that one, trying to look at it from a different lens to find connection versus differences. There's always a way. I'm not telling you not to have boundaries. We're actually at boundaries in this second quote here. We want those. We need those. But maybe there could be a way of kind of finding commonalities versus differences this time of the year. So empathy is connecting to the emotions that underpin an experience. You guys see the difference? So empathy is connecting to the emotions, the gratitude of Thanksgiving, as opposed to just, or let's talk about cancer treatment, diagnosis. We're connecting maybe around someone who has prostate cancer, maybe someone has breast cancer. It doesn't matter. When I've met a survivor, I've met a survivor, there's a certain camaraderie of emotions that underlie the experience. So finding connection, finding what you have in common with people on an emotional level. Boundaries are, and with that, we need boundaries. You don't have to share everything about everything you've went through in treatment. You really don't, unless you want to, unless it's appropriate and feels safe and good to you. Boundaries are a prerequisite for compassion and empathy, right? We can't connect with someone unless we're clear about where we end and they begin. If there's no autonomy between people, then there's no compassion or empathy, just enmeshment. So just throwing it out there. We're not the same as other people. We're not like, oh, I totally, just agree with everything. That's not empathy. Empathy is honoring who we are, honoring who the other person is, that interdependence, and just that exists too. That's a big part of it. Okay, so empathy misses. I just wanted to comment on this. I think this is really interesting. Also, Brené, she talks about when we're trying to connect with others through empathy, there's kind of some hiccups that we may run in along the way. Sometimes we may try and give sympathy versus empathy. They're very different, right? Anybody ever feel like they don't want sympathy, right? It's different than empathy. Sympathy is when it's like, I feel so sorry for you, rather than empathy is like, you know what, I really get it. I feel with you and I've been there. There's a different tone, right? So leaning into that, empathy versus sympathy. Judgment, the person who hears your story and actually feels shame for you. We don't want that. So let's try not to put that out there either. I wanted to, there's a few others, but one I wanted to point out is comparing and competing. That's not empathy, right? We're not like, oh, you can comparing our experience. Have you guys ever experienced this one where, oh, my child's kindergarten teacher had breast cancer too. I totally get it. No, we're not doing that. The person confuses connecting with you over shared experience with the opportunity to one up you, or that's nothing, like you're, whatever the case may be. Advice giving, problem solving, usually people don't want that in the end. It's not quite empathy. So let's lean into what empathy really is, which is being present, finding connection. Okay. I want to see if there's any questions about any of this, any thoughts coming up for people about either loved ones or how to deal with other people. Any questions, any thoughts, you could type or you can chat with the crew. Okay, let's keep them. Anytime you want to. We'll read it later. So I encourage you, and there will be time at the end where we can talk a little more, just so you know. Okay. So I encourage you to get ahead of things. This is where I said the reset button hits. So especially around this time of the year, we want to get ahead of, what's going on. And I came up with I really like alliteration where things all start with the same letter. I don't know. I think it's fun. I studied creative writing. Anyway, I came up with a bunch of G's for you guys to create a routine and a self-care plan when you're feeling alone or for the holidays. Okay, so grounding. I want you, coffee. I really wrote that because it's whatever your routine is. I want you to focus on keeping your daily routine. I know that routine shifts in treatment or after treatment, and that's a whole other topic, but routine is one of the best things for our mental health. We have to be flexible with it. This is not the time to just let yourself go, okay? So keep up what's working for you. You can have your morning coffee, tea, reading something inspirational, something that's just light, praying, meditating, whatever the case may be. Think about what grounds you. Also, in terms of grounding, do you have any skills that help you when the season gets busy or you get anxious? Do you know any breathing skills, right? We can just notice our breath, take those 3 deep breaths like we did in the beginning of class. Extend your exhales longer than your inhales. Just be mindful, just pay attention. Calm yourself back down. Grounding could also look like looking around the room, counting 5 red things you see, or yellow, or just 5 things you see. Grounding, orienting ourselves. Okay, gratitude. I encourage you to think about finding gratitude even in the littlest things. They may be big things this year. If anybody has those, I'd like to celebrate your wins with you. I really would. Also, if you're just like, I'm in it, I would like to encourage you to really dig deep and to see the smallest little things. You might have seen the sweetest smile of someone in this room today. I don't know. It might have been something someone said. Find gratitude for small gestures of kindness. Maybe you gave a small gesture of kindness. A smile, they go a long way. Maybe you saw someone else do a random act of kindness. Nature, just Mary Oliver, go in nature, go look at the trees. You're going to find a lot of gratitude there. Spirituality never hurts. Getting outside, again, nature, it's just like routine self-care. It helps your mental health immensely, your sense of connection by being with living objects. However, also I want to mention the literal, that the physiological benefits of getting outside. Sunlight, fresh air, it's going to help your melatonin, going to help you sleep better. Get outside early in the morning, turn off your phones at night, give yourself a nice little routine, walk in the grass, or put your feet in the sand. And that'll help you release stress. Gift, think about what can you offer? Maybe it's some of these, maybe it's not. Do you have time you could give this year? Can you volunteer? What can you do with your time? Can you spend some extra time with sitting with a person that's elderly, someone that doesn't have family, or someone that's sick? Can you spend your time with a loved one? I mean, our youth really needs a lot of help. Spend some time with a neighbor, or friend, or loved one, whatever it may be. Think about time, think about talent. What skills do you have? What are your gifts? How can you donate them this year? How can you make them shine? I'm telling you, again, maybe this is just, I think that making a nice card, writing a nice letter, thank you cards or Christmas cards, send 2 sentences, it goes very far. Let me say I wrote cards a couple times. All right, and gather. My challenge to you is to find a way to connect with other people in the smallest or in the biggest way that feels comfortable to you this year. Maybe this year is like, I'm celebrating, like I feel good, I'm in a good place. Maybe it's like, just went through that and I need low key this year. Don't do it all by yourself, okay? Plan a coffee date. Maybe it's a pumpkin spice coffee date. I don't know, peppermint latte. Plan a movie night. Go to church. Actually, don't watch it from the computer. Go there. Go to a workout class. There's actually a lot of mental health benefits from going to classes that include synchronistic movement, like yoga, when you're all doing something at the same time. Dance, getting in the flow actually makes us feel connected. Don't wait for those invitations. You be the one to reach out. Okay. So those are the things. I wrote just a couple resources on here. Kristen Neff, she's the self-compassion lady. I wrote Brene Brown. She's the shame and vulnerability lady. And I could leave this up just so you can write them down if you want, but I do want to read a quote for you really quick. Sometimes reaching out and grabbing someone's hand is the beginning of a journey. So the power is within you, and you doing that is going to brighten the day too. So I really appreciate your guys' time. I'm wondering if you have any questions, comments, reflections. Let me try and see if I could get back to those resources. And if there's any other slides you'd like me to put up, I'm happy to. Thank you guys so much so far for spending this time with me. Any thoughts?
Thank you, Brittany.
Yeah.
If anyone has any questions or comments, you can unmute yourself and I'll call on you, or you can put them into the chat. There was a couple of comments when you were asking, is it easier to, give compassion to others or yourself? There was one, I'm a widow and lost my 14-year-old son last year, and has been hard for me to give compassion to myself, but easy to have toward others. Another, easier to give compassion to others than myself. Yes, absolutely.
My heart.
Thank you. Thank you
My
very
heart.
much. This was wonderful.
Yeah, my heart to you, and keep it up. It's going to be a journey, and know the person that said that, please seek support. Please. Okay. Yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone. Okay. Was there anything else? Sorry, Becca.
None so far. But I did
Okay.
want to thank you again, Brittany. This was absolutely wonderful, and I think it's perfect timing right before the holidays, and like you said, you need to prepare now so that you're ready for if these emotions do come up in the future. Absolutely. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much. And if anybody has anything they want to share with the group about anything, you're welcome to. But I want to wish you all a beautiful holiday season. Remember to pause, remember to breathe. If any of these things come up for you, just remember there's help, there's support, and there's ways of dealing with it, okay? And you're lucky because you're already signed up for Cancer Support Community, so I'm not worried about you at all, okay? You're going to use it. All right, well, thank you for all the people that I know that came, the people I didn't, the fresh faces, and have a wonderful week.
Thank you, Brittany.